Well, Esther, there is a lot of concern in this building for the 2 to 3 million people who are in Goma. There's also a lot of concern for UN personnel in the city. The UN says the situation is still very fluid and very dangerous. On Monday, we heard from Bruno Lemarquis, who is the UN resident and humanitarian coordinator in Congo. He spoke to us from Kinshasa. He said the fighting was ongoing and that there were active zones of combat that had spread to all areas of Goma, and water, electricity, internet, and phone service was severely disrupted. He said humanitarian warehouses have been looted. And here in New York at 3 p.m. today, the UN Security Council is going to meet to be briefed on the situation. This will be their second meeting in 3 days. The Congolese Foreign Minister, Therese Wagner, is here. She was here on Sunday. I think she has stayed in New York. She'll be attending this session, so we expect to hear more on the situation from her. And the UN has temporarily evacuated its non-essential personnel from Goma. Some of them have been sent to Kinshasa and some over to Uganda, to Entebbe, where there's a large UN base there. And that's both foreign and Congolese UN personnel.
Do you know if the United Nations is planning any action, at least to stop the current ongoing violence, and have those involved in killing of civilians held accountable?
Well, the United Nations, you know, has a large peacekeeping force in the eastern DRC known as MONUSCO. The government of Congo has asked for it to gradually withdraw and leave the country, so it's down to about 10,000 peacekeepers now, and they have beefed up their presence in and around the Goma area. They're backing up the Congolese army there, trying to stop the violence. Their mission, their mandate is to protect civilians and to disarm combatants. And the head of UN peacekeeping told us Monday that they are still doing that. The UN has lost 3 peacekeepers in the last few days. They've been killed, and several others were injured in the fighting with the M23. The UN Secretary General and the UN Security Council have both issued urgent calls for the fighting to stop, for the M23 to cease hostilities, to go back to the ceasefire agreement of August, which they violated, and for Rwandan forces to withdraw.
Margaret, very quickly, do we know if the UN is sending any humanitarian assistance to Congo?
Well, the UN released $17 million on Sunday from a central emergency fund to help with urgent needs. Unfortunately, today, the World Food Program said that they have to temporarily suspend their work in North Kivu due to the insecurity. And the impact of that means that 800,000 people will not be receiving the food aid that they had been slated to get. And we know it's already a dire humanitarian crisis in Congo. But efforts are ongoing, and the UN is staying.